Well, of course, you give him everything. What do you expect?
And Satan actually challenges God and says, if Job were tempted, if he no longer had all of these wonderful things that God had given to him, what happens to him then? Satan convinces God that Job should be tested to see if he is really all that good. And this is where Satan becomes the first adversary, the first tester of humans.
So it's interesting in this story, Satan is actually working with God as a kind of member of his staff or his heavenly council.
The divine council of God is very interesting because we learned that it is composed of various angelic beings, including Satan. And the idea is that these are advanced beings who carry out God's orders and God's wishes from the commands of this council. It really seems like we're seeing some kind of divine bureaucracy, something like you would see in a corporate or a governmental bureaucracy.
Could our notion of Satan as an evil force be incorrect? Ancient astronaut theorists believe there is much more to the story, and that the answer may be found not only in the pages of the Hebrew Bible, but on ancient scrolls whose origins date back thousands of years.
Refresh the everyday with Mentos Chewy Mints. Yes to fresh. Refresh the everyday with Mentos Chewy Mints. Yes to fresh. Refresh the everyday with Mentos Chewy Mints. Yes to fresh.
Treat good pups to good and fun chews for long and lasting fun. You'll love that the chomping and chewing helps maintain their healthy teeth, and that our treats provide exciting mental stimulation to keep pups' minds and mouths occupied. Good and fun, long-lasting dog treats.
Be back in a bit. Try not to burn the house down.
Guess it's a good thing we got AAA.
AAA, we're always with you.
Be back in a bit. Try not to burn the house down.
Guess it's a good thing we got AAA.
AAA, we're always with you.
Peter Van here. You know, I thought growing up would be the worst, but then I found a way to hack adulthood. It's called AAA. With AAA, I'm covered from roadside to poolside, and insurance and member perks that make adulting a breeze. With AAA, it pays to be a member.
It's match day, and it's Total Wine Time, the only place to go for the lowest prices on your go-to lineup of spirits, beers, seltzers, and wines. We've got what you need to fill your cup for match day and every day, only at Total Wine & More.
Qumran, the West Bank. Here, during a series of excavations beginning in 1949, archaeologists unearthed hundreds of ancient scrolls. They are believed to have been written by a Hebrew sect known as the Essenes more than 2,000 years ago. Several of the scrolls contain fragments of what has become known as the Book of Enoch, and the account of a rebellion launched by a group of angels called the Watchers.
One of the most famous parts of the Book of Enoch is the story of the Watchers. This is a story about 200 angels that were charged with watching over mankind in its early stages and basically taking care of us, looking out for us.
The Watchers are a group of angels who are dispatched to watch humans and to help humans. Now, the Watchers are very interesting because they are angels who interact with humans.
And there's a brief reference to this in Genesis, but the Book of Enoch essentially expands that story and tells a more full story. This was taken out of the canon of the Bible early in the church's life. but it was in for a period of time.
Once the Watchers begin to interact with humans, they become infatuated with this new species and they become lustful of this new species. And all of a sudden, the original idea, the original commands that they were given seem a lot less interesting to them.
They came to a point where they wanted to take wives and have children, and so they decided to rebel, create bodies, marry, and bear children.
According to the Book of Enoch, the leader of this rebellion is a watcher known as Shemyaza or Satanael. Could this be the same character we know as Satan?
So what we're seeing in the story of Shemyaza and the Watchers is very similar to the story of Lucifer in charge of the angels. In both cases, we're confronted with a hierarchy of a species which is between us and God, the leader of which disagrees with God and basically wants to live amongst mankind.
When you look at the different versions of the Book of Enoch, the one thing that combines all of them is that they talk about the Watchers from heaven. And they are the ones who gave knowledge. And when I look at terms such as Watchers from heaven, then personally, I interpret them as possible extraterrestrials.
Do the ancient accounts of Shemyaza's revolt and Lucifer's fall suggest that Satan's efforts to corrupt mankind in the Garden of Eden were actually an attempt to give man forbidden knowledge? And might these legends be based not on myth, but on actual historical events? Events involving extraterrestrial visitors. Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and believe that close examination of the Book of Enoch may point to physical evidence of where Satan's so-called rebellion against God may have actually occurred. Mount Hermon, Lebanon. Straddling the border of Syria, this legendary mountain, as described in the Book of Enoch, is the peak where Shemyaza and the Watchers descended to earth.
In the Book of Enoch, there's a reference to Mount Hermon. We see the angels basically descending to Mount Hermon. So Mount Hermon was both a place of